federal judge overseeing the election interference case against Donald Trump in Washington, D.C. imposed a gag order today. It's a limited one, but it's still something that his legal team fought long and hard to avoid. It prohibits the former president from making public statements attacking witnesses, prosecutors, or court employees who are involved in this federal case, which relates to the effort to overturn the 2020 election. Federal Judge Tanya Chutkan left the bench, came back, ruled that Mr. Trump cannot make or repost statements attacking the special counsel, Jack Smith, his staff, or family, or Judge Chutkan's staff. Recognizing he's a candidate for president who needs to talk about issues including this one, he's still allowed to attack the Biden administration and the Justice Department. He's even allowed to suggest that his prosecution is politically motivated, and it seems he can attack the judge herself. Trump would immediately test the lines, posting to social media, "Terrible thing happened to democracy today, gag order, we'll appeal the gag order ruling." But I would think all of that is still fair game, meaning what he said there. But here's the thing many don't seem to appreciate. Gag orders are implemented all the time in high-profile cases. Defendants and their lawyers' ability to speak out is very often limited. And there's a fair argument to be made that if this were any other defendant, publicly calling the prosecutor crooked and deranged, potential witnesses delusional, and the judge highly partisan, very biased and unfair, that a gag order might have been implemented months ago. Hours after the gag order was imposed, he was back on the campaign trail in Iowa saying this.
They think the only way they can catch me is to stop me from speaking. They want to take away my voice. And a judge gave a gag order today. Did you hear that? On speech, which I believe is totally unconstitutional what she did. A judge gave a gag order. A judge doesn't like me too much. Her whole life is not liking me.
Mr. Trump is not a legal expert, but Renato Mariotti is. He's the former assistant U.S. attorney for the Northern District of Illinois. Renato, what do you make of the ruling?
I have to say I was a little surprised by it, Dan, because it's a ruling that could potentially create an appellate issue. First Amendment issues are significant, and whenever you are trying to restrict someone's speech beforehand, that's something that courts take seriously. And of course, here we're dealing with a presidential candidate. So surprised she exercised her power in this way, given that she had plenty of other ways to keep Trump in check.
So how? I mean, if she didn't do something like this, how does she deal with the attacks, et cetera, that are coming on social media and beyond?
You know, she has broad powers, for example, to manage her trial calendar. She could have easily just told him, as she suggested she was going to do earlier, that she would move up the trial date, for example, if he started to intimidate witnesses or made statements that were out of line. So I'm surprised that she went in this direction. You could see it's not only creating a campaign issue for him. I do think his lawyers are going to appeal this. I do think it's going to create problems for her, but I obviously decided she wanted to take on that risk.
Yeah, because, you know, despite the fact that some of the comments are, you know, sort of outrageous, there is a First Amendment right. And it seems, though, she's trying to walk a fine line here, right? Basically still allowing him to criticize her, but not her staff and not the special prosecutor. I guess I'm surprised that she was not allowing him to criticize Jack Smith. I would think that would have been considered fair game.
I agree. Jack Smith's a public figure. There's a lot of people on this network who criticize Jack Smith and who praise Jack Smith. And so I really think these are issues of public concern, and that's really what is fraught about this topic in general. You know, when you're dealing with a defendant who is not only the former president of the United States, but a leading candidate for president, there are different rules when it comes to the First Amendment because these are issues of public concern. I really think this is a ruling that is going to create some issues on appeal for the judge.
Yeah, it was a close case. I expected a limited gag order. I, like you, expected it would be even more limited than it was here. But we shall see what happens. That's why Renato Mariotti gives us the straight talk. Thank you, Mariotti. Good to see you. That does it for us tonight. Thanks for watching. Danfield starts. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.